When I was about 11 years old, I tried to drive a car with all of my friends to Legoland in Florida. It all started when I was just sitting at home watching TV and I see this advertisement pop up for this place called Legoland in Florida. At the time, I had never heard of this place because it had just opened, but I loved playing with Legos. God, I still love playing with Legos. In Lil Marker's head, I knew I needed to find a way to get to this mystical land of Lego. I called up my buddy and I was like, hey, you heard about Legoland? He was just like, no, there's a land of Lego. I was just like, yeah, I want to go. And he agreed. I was like, all right, you ask your parents, I ask my parents. Report back to me. So I do exactly that. I ask my parents. But to my dismay, they say no. But I still had hope because my friend's parents still could have said yes. So I call him up and I'm just like, hey, we going to Legoland? He was just like, no. They said no, it's too far away and expensive. After hearing that, I was honestly pretty disheartened. But Lil Marker wasn't about to take the L that easily. I had an idea. I told my friend, I'm like, hey, if we get more kids to ask their parents if they can go to Legoland, the probability of one of them saying yes is like way higher. And I tell him, what if we just get more kids involved and make it a group trip? My friend was like, Mark, that is such a good idea. You are a genius. So we went on to ask our friends if they would be interested in going to Legoland. Before we even knew it, we had like 20 11-year-olds interested in going to Legoland with us. We legitimately wrote out a script for these kids to pitch this trip to their parents, like a telemarketer. The pitch went a little something like this. Mom, Dad, as you may know, I am an avid user of Lego products. So when I heard the news of Legoland opening up in Florida, I was delighted, as were 20 of my fellow friends. With that being said, would you want to warm our little hearts and take us to Legoland? Looking back, I don't know why anybody in the right mind would take 20 children to Legoland because that just seems like a living hell. But for some reason, at the time, I thought this would work. But to Lil Marker's shock, none of the parents agreed to take all 20 of us to Legoland. But I wasn't giving up. I had too much stake in the situation. I had the hope of 20 kids behind me. So it was back to the drawing board. I was thinking we could fly, but it was too expensive. We could walk, but it would take too long. I was starting to lose hope when I had this epiphany. What if I just drove everyone there? In my head, I was like, yeah, I'm 11, but what's really the difference between real life driving and Mario Kart? So I hop on my parents' computer and I message my 20 closest friends on this weird email group chat thing if they would be interested in me driving them to Legoland. Half of them were smart enough to know that that was incredibly dangerous and they were like, no, it's okay. I'll just wait to go to Legoland. But a good 10 kids were just as dumb as me and were all in for me driving them to Legoland. Tell them to meet at my place tomorrow night at 10 p.m. In the meantime, I started playing so much Mario Kart because I thought it would make me a better driver in real life. Eventually becomes night and I sneak out of my family's house with my parents' car keys to meet my friends outside. Right off the bat, I was met with a dilemma. The car I was going to take to Legoland only sat 5, but 8 of my friends showed up. So what did I do? I told 3 of them to get in the trunk. This is an 18-hour trip. Eventually, 3 of the kids actually get in the trunk and the rest of us get into the car. As soon as I'm in the driver's seat, I'm just like, this isn't like Mario Kart. Then put the keys in and turn on the car. And bro, we all start getting nervous. We're all just like, wait, is this a good idea? I move the car like an inch and we all scream like little girls. I guess my prefrontal cortex kicks in or something because I start thinking about what my parents will think when they don't see their car in the morning. Then I start thinking about how are we going to pay to get into Legoland? I realized that I didn't think this through all the way. So I'm just like, guys, I don't know if this is going to work. Everyone's just like, what? We're going to Legoland. I'm just like, my parents are going to freak out when they don't see their car in the morning. And how are we going to get in with no money? But we legit just sat in the car for a good 5 minutes, like thinking about ways we can make the trip happen. Mind you, the kids in the trunk have no idea what is going on. While we were sitting in the car, I see a light go on in my house and I'm like, oh shit, my parents are up. So I tell everyone in the car to just get out and run. But before I can open the trunk to let the 3 kids in the back out, my parents come outside. They catch me red-handed. They're just like, Mark, what is going on? Why are you outside with the car keys? Before I could say anything, you could hear a mumbled voice from the trunk of my parents' car say, Mark, what is going on? So of course my parents open their trunk and to their surprise, find 3 children in there. Let's just say I had a lot of explaining to do.